Hold on, it's not being legible.
Can y'all hear us? Oh, I got some nods. Slay. Okay. Cool, cool. I'm probably just gonna make this closer to me. Can I take this mic stand? Yeah, okay. Oh, it's heavy. Okay. Oh. Okay, cool. Folks can still hear me on Zoom? Everything good? Fair, sound good? Can I get a thumbs up? Yeah, Jen? Okay. Thank you. So we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7:00. Protect the apple. Sounds great. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't get to 7 last time, but I was here. Okay. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
I'd like to link my, my officer reports onto my, well, like my officer report doc onto the agenda itself.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Just shop it at the shop?
It's like attaching it.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Josh, go ahead.
Can we please strike or contingency programming, please? Thanks.
Okay, Alicia.
Can we please strike ARC allocations?
Jen?
Could we strike the SWC? Oh no. I think I'm disconnecting. Can you hear me? Okay. Could you strike the SWC fund? And also, if this is a good time to add a discussion item about my position in the appointment search committee, possibly reappointing somebody else or adding on another member, just based on how the first like week and a half of doing search committee has been.
Sound good? A discussion.
Thank you.
You're on AFC? Appointment search committee? Janice?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you on AFC? Search committee?
Yeah, I'm on the search committee, ASC.
Megan?
I'm gonna, change discussion on summer USAC meetings and quota to vote on summer USAC meetings and quota.
You also vote to make it.
Oh, okay.
So for all those ones that you're gonna wanna actually go into the search committee, you can go individual motions to make those individual ones.
So we do the motion before we do the, okay. Can I have a motion? No.
I have to make while I'm here.
So discussion of summer USAC, the forum.
Summer USAC meeting for
Begin.
discussion.
Okay, no, I have a second. We have a second. Okay, perfect. All in favor? And 11. Okay, perfect. That's everybody 11-0-0. All right, that is approved. So now that'll be a voting action. Perfect.
The next three things that are voting things, also need to be changed to action items.
Ah, slay. Okay, all right, need some more motion. And then we'll get to you guys. Individual?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can make blanket action.
Okay.
Motion to vote to restrict general representative surplus fund.
Have a second?
I second.
Okay, that was the, motion. So, what?
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, second, okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh, and Sarah's raising her hand as well.
Okay, well, okay, 12-0, perfect. And that was approved. Oh, wait. Still did a vote. You know? That was really there. Okay. Cool. Okay, go ahead and turn it back.
And we also need to do them for the two other items.
Have another motion. Change that to a vote.
A motion to change that to a voting item.
Can you say that?
Yeah, I'm gonna motion to change the vote to sign Streets for All letter to Congressman Brad Sherman as a voting item.
A second.
And the motion, in second. All in favor? Raise your hand. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, 13-0, and that. Okay, cool.
To change vote to sign Sepulveda Transit Corridor Justice Letter into an action item.
Good motion, can I have a second? Okay, good motion, Jonathan seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Okay. Jess, you wanna go? Sorry.
My internet is so bad. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm lagging a couple seconds behind, but yes. Hello, hi.
Alright, 12-0, perfect. That.
Can we vote to have a USAC meeting next week?
Well,
We need a vote to vote, okay.
well,
Well, then I motion to vote to have a USAC meeting next week.
can I ask a brief question before that?
Yeah.
Actually, never mind. Because we have till June 26th. That's when the retreat is for
Oh, really?
BOD. So I'm like, do you want to discuss it or you just want to vote on it now? Like for having a meeting next week, because I'm not sure how many people can even.
I think we can discuss it and then possibly vote on it.
Because we can discuss it during like our summer. Meeting, hypothetically, like, yeah.
Technically, as the chair, you can call the meeting, so you don't necessarily need to go. So you
Okay.
can just call it after the meeting.
Good, okay, we'll do that. Okay, cool.
Hi, can we strike SFS allocations?
Wait, what?
Wait, I'm sorry, because the audio is really bad. So were we past? Are we still like amending the agenda?
Yes, we are, so we got yours down.
Okay,
Good.
awesome.
So yeah, you're good there. I didn't,
Should I remove the action item next to adjournment? Or I don't know why that was there.
and then Tara, was there amendment?
Yeah, can I add a discussion item? To talk about amending the bylaws to create a transfer unity council and to create transfer representative positions in each USAC office.
Is that two separate items?
I think we can discuss them together.
Sorry, can you type in the chat?
It's basically the slap sheet, well, the templates that she sent. So if you just want to copy it from there. She had the chat. Whatever works best, there we go. You say I want to include transfer representation in each USAC office. And then we'll leave it up there for now and then further the discussion will get there. Okay? All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and approve the agenda. Now, perfect. Okay, John motion, second, all in favor, please raise your hand. Absent, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, is it? Okay, 12. 12 0 to 0, and that is approved. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so we need to approve our minutes from last meeting. Hope everyone was able to should be minutes. Is everything good? Jess, is your hand still up for a question about that? Okay. All right, so can I have a motion to? Again, all in favor, please raise your hand. That everyone that wants to vote on approving the minutes. Okay, 12 0 to 0, and that is approved. Okay, before we get into public comment, I'm just gonna make a brief announcement. This meeting's gonna take a long time if I don't have people paying attention. I don't want to be here a long time to Okay, thank you. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up for public comment at 7:14 p.m. So this is the time for anybody to like basically give us any comments, questions, concerns. Right. That'll be about it. Public comment. Go ahead and raise your hand if you're here for public comment. No one's here for public comment. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and close it at 7:14 p.m. Quickest one. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead into funding really quickly. So go ahead and start out with capital with Josh.
Hi, everybody. For this week, we had a total capital contingency request of $7,626.28, and we recommend an allocation of $7,626.28, or a full allocation for 5 USAC entities. And I'll put that in the chat right now as well.
So we'll go ahead. That's the number. It's on.
See request. Let's see. $7,626.28. For 5 seconds.
Perfect. Okay, make a motion. Can I have a second?
I second.
Oh, make a motion. Have a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. 8, 9, 10. Is that everyone that wants to vote? Okay, all abstaining. Okay, got some late votes. So is that for our agreements? There. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me just go ahead and start that. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, perfect. That is no. Adam, do you want to vote for agreement or? Okay, go ahead, while you're down. Okay, perfect. Okay, so all abstaining, please raise your hand. Good. Two abstaining. Okay, okay, and then all again. Okay, 10 to 0. Oh, sorry. 10 to 30. All right. Going into our next one, so we have ASRF allocation. Oh, sorry, you're talking? Okay. Do you know if there are any allocations? Okay, so that was going to be stricken, okay? What do I say? There's no allocation. Okay. So we are assuming there are no allocations for ASRF. And then going into the, going into the AAC travel grant allocation. Same thing, we will assume that there are no allocations. I think she said she might come at 8. Moving on into our last one, I see DGIF.
Yeah, so TGIF, we had a big round of funding this year. We had all of our capital X infrastructure projects going on. So our number right now is $107,131 with 31 cents. We'll definitely type that one in the chat. That's to 11 non-UCLA or non-USAC entities. And again, I can repeat that number. It's $107,131.
Cool. Any opposition? ASAP?
Yeah.
All right, any opposition? No, okay. And that is that item, so we're good to move forward with that. All right. So we don't have any special communication. Unfortunately, no. Okay. We'll go ahead and get. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get this off. So a couple things are there that I'm forward to, like goals for the years, and that's what we're gonna be working on. As such, this is one that I put that information in there, because I know Coach Michelle, I want to shout out to Kara and Eliana for their work. It was definitely amazing. The energy was, I really enjoyed that. I put to yes, he's in your banquet, where I gave. So that was really time to see all the service projects. Some of my friends I didn't know were service projects. So got to see that. It was such a venue, and I was like, oh, hey. That was great. I definitely had a great time in there. I met with some ASC this morning about the need of. That's where I learned that there were 3 meetings this June 26th through 28th. So that is very good to know for that our definitely there for our retreat. So that's also why we kind of have a little bit of we'll probably will have a meeting the Tuesday after final meeting, but we'll discuss later on. What else? I got to attend Afro that was a black and white ball. Definitely got to attend that before then. I know with some of the other advisors that we just get more. And Barnes has some working on. Participate. So I definitely got you to stop by throughout today and our last. But have a good conversation with Evan today. So just had a great time. And Jenna our prior tabling day. So appreciate you all for being able to make it out. And I definitely think I've also been talking to individuals trying to get them involved that I know for some appointments. So we we've done a few applications that way, this will be coming in, they promised me. So, look forward to that. Also have some discussion with folks about planning an event, kind of get to know our bit. So definitely that, thing that probably over Slack. Fourth, for the next topic, I definitely, call it before, we were talking about this discussion, small discussion item, so that, please, you can log off and back in, that's completely fine. Earlier today, I definitely want to, say that this is an issue that, Ira brought up a couple weeks ago. With that, there has been an older gentleman that has basically going on the hill and targeting Black women primarily on campus. Harassed them, assaulted them, that one person is going filing a restraining order. He's been arrested by UC, I believe twice now, or to my knowledge. And he was in the Black River Resource Center earlier today. Primarily had a conversation with me. I did not know it was the thing that was literally like right in front of me, and so like somebody told me that this was the guy I didn't know. So sorry about like kind of like off today. But that was definitely an experience. So I will be working with Tyra, Dominique. I have made Dominique aware of the they're aware of the issue after Tyra had talked to me and communicated with that she had reached out to various chancellors and basically heard back in response, very little response, which is extremely disappointing because an email from Tyra or from me or from any council member should have at the end of the day, make that known. And I do want to apologize to Tyra and the Black community because I could have definitely done more on the issue. I've just been a little bit everywhere, and I definitely gave this more priority, so I will make that apology. And from now forward, it definitely has that full attention. So yeah, that is something I want to talk about, and this is something that me and Tara and Dominic towards a finding the solution, a proper solution for. So yeah, that is all that I have for my work. And moving on to our IB.
No, we're currently going over option applications. I'm currently going over ops applications. I will be holding rolling interviews, so please share that online with those who could be interested and in your organization group chats as well. I have four right now. Hopefully that grows. I will be creating a graphic on behalf of USAC to advertise student appointments for committees. So please reach out if you have any like specific information for appointments that you will be specifically appointing. Mainly for like Sujana or AAC and any specific positions that you want to like share more information about, please reach out to me because I will include that in the graphic. ARC will be holding interviews specifically for ASCCLA Board of Director appointments next week, so please advertise that, spread the word for those who could be interested, because that needs to be filled out ASAP, and we only have a few applications comparing to last year where we had 10 applications, and there are only 2 positions, so please spread the word. So we tabled for appointments today. It was a little bare because it's hard to like reach out to students on Broadwalk sometimes. But if we do another event like this, I'll be sure to make sure that it's a bit more flashy. I scheduled a meeting today with, I think, Levy from Gen Rep 3's office last year. We're gonna talk about making UCLA more sustainable and accessible. I reached out to a couple of student organizations to extend my support and see how the IBP office can help. And I will be reaching out to more organizations throughout the summer to make sure that we're connected throughout the year. I also attended our little meet and greet with Corey from ACCLA. And we'll definitely be reaching out to him to talk more about like the ACCLA t-shirt contest and other things that the IVP office has been working on for like the past couple of years. And I got his business card if anyone in USAC needs it. But that is it for now.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, moving on to the vice president.
Okay, oh wow, okay. First thing I did this week, Evan and I were really fortunate to meet with Bruin Shelter about the safe parking initiative. We decided from here on, the next steps are, really to initiate a coalition partnership. This was an initiative that, we are like respective organizations and others, were part of a coalition in it like 2020. So we're really revitalizing that with other safe parking organizations, connecting with other colleges that have done this, like Fullerton Community College, as well as Fresno State, I think, or maybe I'm mixing that up. As well as, Bruin Shelter, the LA Tenants Union, the Rise Center, really getting the gang together to really see how we can provide safe parking for folks that are sleeping in their cars at night. We also want to begin conducting a financial analysis to see how much money this would cost. We have numbers from one conducted in 2020, but I'm 100% positive that is outdated. And, going to admin with these asks, we really want an updated finances. So looking to do that in conjunction with Safe Parking LA, as well as reaching out to facilities, see what that process would look like, including transportation facilities, as well as UCLA rec facilities, seeing what the capability would be there of using their various hygiene access, things like that. So setting up meetings with respective individuals for that is on the horizon. And we also are planning to review previous bills, including AB 302, and other like analogous bills to see really what state bill that would make like a provision of safe parking look like, whether that's like funding towards like public universities having a dedicated safe parking spot. We'll see. Next thing I did, I attended the Student Coalition for Basic Needs long-term planning meeting with some other folks across USAC. It was a really good opportunity to learn about the scope of the work that the coalition is doing and discuss the level of administrative involvement, the frequency of meetings, and really how to address the policy goals that they have, which are super cool. Next thing, I'm also going to issue a trigger warning for mentions of SA. So today I met with UCLA Ignite. They're a really wonderful student organization that works on reproductive rights. There we discussed various issues that we're hoping to target UC Reads for. One of them being funding for care directors. There's supposed to be one care director for 13,000 students as like the target, but that is not the ratio that is existing right now. They're super understaffed. And so we want to see how the working conditions can be better there to get better funding so that we can have like more access to things like any reproductive care, safety, as well as nurses who are trained in administering SA forensic examinations, because that's a really big issue in terms of like funding and compensation for that. Furthermore, we discussed like promoting availability of resources that are like available currently for students who are survivors. So when I end up posting that, I would love if y'all could share that as well, because the biggest issue right now is just visibility. Furthermore, we discussed the issue of funding for transportation to hospitals. There's a bill that passed the state assembly. I think now it's in the Senate for this. But this provides funding for survivors to be transported to hospitals, but only within like a certain radius. So UCLA would be covered under this bill because we're very fortunate to be near Reagan and other hospitals like that, but this only disproportionately affects campuses without access to hospitals and nearby. So like UCSB, UC Merced, et cetera. So we really discussed like how Ignite and EVP can come forward to establish a partnership and mobilize the UC Regents and see what we can do to really get more funding for this. And the only reason I'm going on this spiel is just to bring more awareness to this issue, because I think like this is a lot of stuff that I wasn't really aware about. So I just wanted to tell everyone what's going on. Next, I'm planning to meet with the folks from ASA that were gracious enough to present the resolution last week in terms of the implementation for the resolution. We're thinking of a student mobilization project to advocate for divestment towards the UC Board of Regents. We're hosting, UCLA is hosting the meeting September 19th through the 21st. So hoping to mobilize for divestment there and create a proposal for what that would look like. Next, I set up a meeting with End Overdose to discuss things like the Narcan task force and really seeing what we can do to provide access to Narcan and fentanyl test strips on campus. Next thing, I met with Sonia, who is the GSA EVP. She discussed the priority for her admin's basic needs, which I was super happy to hear because like me too. And so from there, we're hoping that us both EVPs can really form a partnership. One thing that she mentioned was having, I think in previous years, there was initiative to have like someone in administration literally be hired to like sign paperwork that would help folks get signed up for CalFresh. And so there's like a funding issue there, maybe restarting that so that we could have like a permanent staff person who's literally like there to sign paperwork. So the process of getting CalFresh for graduate students could be expedited. Next, I met with CalPERG and to discuss their new voters project. Their new voters project lead would work with or under the Bruins vote chair, who is hired by the EVP office. So we really discussed the vision for Bruins vote going forward. Some things we discussed are like holding democracy workshops, so like breaking down the ballot, etc., but also really institutionalizing support for like campus voting. So that's like hiring staffers for communications and coalition building and programming and volunteer management in order to build up a really good base of volunteers to help people register to vote and really, mobilize before the March primaries and the 2024 presidential election. Furthermore, I'm setting up a meeting with Make the Luca to discuss like what that infrastructure could look like. So I'm super excited for that. Next, sorry. I also met with the Deputy Director of Campus Life and the Manager of Campus Life Initiatives, Karen Hedges and Philip Goodrich. And there we kind of discussed some more like Bruins vote stuff, and broadly they really helped like break down UCLA bureaucracy for me. So that was super cool. Next, I met with the Facilities Commission to discuss a potential labor coalition. One thing we discussed there is with the UC Student Association kind of building a movement for sustainable labor as part of their campaign that's called the Students Enacting Environmental Defense, or SEED. So really building a movement there to maybe do things like making it a UC-wide policy that we can't sell from companies that have like labor violations. And so that is something that we're doing as kind of an end goal, but this is very in the early stages. So I'm really, really super excited to continue that with that. And lastly, I just attended the meet and greet with Oria, the ASUCLA CEO, and that was super informative.
Awesome, thank you so much. And passing to our number 1, Kate. That's in. Okay.
All right, thank you. So this week I held table for the USAC appointments. I've been spreading the word around. I think we had a lot of energy last Wednesday. It was a great time. All the gen reps were there. They were having a wonderful time. So we're going to try to increase those applications for the appointments. So this week I've been working on 2 things that like I want to be accomplishing next year. So that includes improving counseling office hours. So I met with my academic counselor to discuss like, how does they choose their walk-in times, and the fact that like, especially for major counseling appointments, you have to get 3 days in advance, but most of the time when you need to get a counseling appointment, it needs to be a little bit more immediate than that. So we're just gonna be discussing how we can increase the accessibility to those appointments and kind of get them a little bit faster. And especially, I don't know if any of you guys have been into the walk-in counseling appointments at the colleges of letters and science, but sometimes it can be really long wait time and you just don't have time for that. So we're gonna be focusing on that. My directors and I are trying to focus on a way that we can implement those and improve waiting times for counseling appointments. I also am hoping to get in touch with the student intramural director because my office really wants to increase the accessibility for commuter students for next year for fall quarters IM games. Because some IM games will last until like 10 o'clock. So for commuter students, that's just not really a realistic time. So we're gonna be working and meeting with the student IM director. I haven't been introduced to the if there's an official IM director, but I know the person who's a student. So yes, okay, thank you. I'm very excited. And then finally, I've been filling up my office, doing director interviews and just trying to fill it up. So I still have a couple positions to fill. And if anyone's interested, I'll be sending out my form if anyone hasn't seen it yet. And that's what I've been working up to this week.
Thank you. You can go ahead and get the mic for now. Go ahead, that's the outside general representative. Gabby?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So last week I tabled for the appointment fair with Katie and Jonathan, and we had a great time. It was really fun. So I'm hoping that more people will apply, hopefully by the end of this week. I also posted that I am hiring, and I'll be reaching out for interviews hopefully next week. My applications are on a rolling basis. And also if everyone can help spread the word about that, that would be great. This week I'll be attending Junity Shabbat. And then also with USAC appointments, Sujana, Janice, and I have been emailing different departments. I'm covering the social sciences about USAC appointments. And we basically just sent them a little blurb about what they can post and send out to students. So hopefully that also increases our application numbers. And then I'm also still working on the commuter affordability resources campaign.
Amazing. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, and Jonathan, do you want to share? Oh, too?
Huh?
Want to share out loud?
Yeah. So hi, everyone. So I have a couple updates. So I scheduled a meeting officially with the Green Card office in July to discuss the digitization efforts. I would have liked to meet with them a bit earlier. However, they said that their fiscal year is wrapping up this month and that they're really busy. So I was like, okay, that's fine, but I'm meeting with them while in Japan. So the 16-hour time difference will definitely be fun. I hope to discuss feasibility, costs, etc. My goal would be to get that started by the fall, but depends on how that conversation goes, and I hope to have stuff prepared next time after I meet them. I had a meeting with Dr. Elizabeth Gonzalez, the inaugural director of the HSI initiative. That was a really productive, really great meeting. We talked about how USAC can support the HSI initiative, which is, for those who don't know, UCLA has a goal of becoming a Hispanic serving institution by 2025. To be a Hispanic serving institution, you have to have at least a 25% Hispanic identifying student population. So that's a big goal that the school itself has. And, I think it's really important, in particular for Hispanic students who feel very underrepresented at this campus. So we talked about how we can support how myself and, this body as well can support promoting initiatives, town halls, opportunities, etc. Most likely, and this is most likely not definitive, but there will be some sort of Latinx temporary center opening up in the fall, specifically on the Hill. I believe that Dr. Gonzalez mentioned to me that there's a space in Deneb that has been kind of chosen to be temporary, which, is really great news. I think Hispanic students in particular have needed a resource center. And I'm really excited that there's some sort of temporary thing until a full-on office can be established. I discussed with her about potentially attending the opening, promoting and supporting that initiative once there's more concrete info. More than anything, we just need to help push for more resources of Latinx students and promote unity between the different groups who I will be, starting to meet with more, hopefully over the summer. More than anything, we just need more students to get involved with that initiative. So whenever I get that info and flyers, I really would appreciate if you all could help support and spread that word, etc. I'm going to meet with her again closer to fall She'd also like us to attend the Latinx Welcome event, which was an event that happened this year as well. So that would be something really important that we all could, or some of us could attend to just voice our support. She also told me like a retreat is happening with some students who are, planning out the center itself. So I will let you all know when I get that information so that we can promote it through our various channels. In shifting topics, I've officially have my internal chief of staff and my marketing director, so I'm a bit excited to have my staff. I'm hiring for my external chief of staff and my policy director. So please let anyone you know who would be interested on serving my board about that. My applications will be closing on the 23rd, so please let them know. Director applications will follow immediately after. So I hope to connect with more orgs, like I mentioned, over the summer. I tabled for appointments last week and this week, getting the word out, hoping we can get more people appointed, yeah, we really need to get appointments, especially for ARC, like, I'd like to review as many as we can before I have a 16-hour time difference. So I also applied the capital contingency, that's tech that we're gonna be sharing between all three of us in the Gen Rep office, just because we feel that it's a lot more productive and a lot better that all three of us share the different resources together and, kind of make our office a comfortable space for students to come, and we really want to revitalize that. I went to the meet and greet as well to discuss potential connections with ASUCLA, and it was very informative. And I officially posted in General Representative 3 Instagram, so I'll be using that a lot more now, transitioned in, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Okay, on to perfect academic affairs, Commissioner. All right.
Hello, Haley. I'm proxy for Sujana. She's sending her office report, so I will do that. She has a meeting with the sole advisor, Melissa Abrams, scheduled for tomorrow at 10 a.m. She is planning on asking questions about SOL logistics and resources that they may have to support our projects. She also has a meeting with CalPERS textbook affordability team this Thursday scheduled to see how our individual textbook affordability initiatives may align. She also previously had a meeting with Katie Wagner, who's a student heavily involved in this work, and that meeting took place last Friday. They are actively involved in working on building an advocacy coalition to make inclusive access an opt-in program, and we'll hopefully push that to a vote in the Academic Senate in the upcoming year. For Academic Senate, the meeting is scheduled for June 22nd with academic leadership to discuss how Sujana can best advance Senate initiatives, and also she's given a confirmed list of academic Senate appointments and an appointment deadline of August 15th. She's partnering with Hiram and Adam to figure out how the joint appointment process for Academic Senate will work. She says she's already run into a couple issues with Academic Senate, and so she's going to focus on textbook affordability and inclusive access, incomplete notations, meaning incomplete notations that remain on your transcript even after you were giving your final grade, in partnership with EVAs. She's going to see if departments can make 195 CE internships paid, and in partnership with Jonathan, establish a joint accredited program with French University. She arranged for the grad prep rental materials that were loaned to students this quarter to be returned to the AAC office at the end of finals week. She arranged for the USIE teachers to be distributed to this year's facilitators from the AAC office. Applied for capital contingency. She established her executive board and plans an onboarding meeting this Friday. Director applications closed and she's conducting interviews this week. She has 2 potential appointments, one for CRC and one for SIOC. She publicized academic senate appointments today after getting a final list of appointments. And then also she wanted to know that she tabled last week and is emailing professors within the humanities.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. And passing it on to the next mission.
All right. Oh, this microphone. Okay. Hi everyone. So just updates in terms of like planning stuff this week. I've had like a bunch of individual meetings with all the lovely people in USAC. as well as our sole advisors to help me become better acquainted with my role, as well as help my directors kind of understand their roles and the resources that are available to them next year to make their jobs a little easier, hopefully. Me and Alicia also finalized our directors' roles and kind of how we're like splitting up our staffs to tackle Brew Bash. So now that we finalize that, we can start moving forward with like our A&R stuff and trying to find artists and everything, which is really exciting. And we also have a big Brew Bash stakeholders meeting tomorrow with a bunch of people in USAC to kind of forward that process even more. And we met with Jonathan, Jessica, and Fernando, who we started calling the Geek Squad because they always have the answers. And they've really helped us like set a good track for like our sponsorships and everything. So we're really excited about that. We want to bring in a lot of sponsorships to Brew Bash this year, so that it can hopefully be bigger and better than it was before, even though it's always been amazing, but hopefully bigger and better. And we also lined up meetings with our alumni advisors and other USAC advisors to like understand the Learfield and the sponsorship network better, so we can make sure we do everything right on that. In terms of our events, we had short takes last Thursday, which was super awesome. I almost cried at one of the films. It was really great. And Connor Wood, the host, was also really funny. And then I know last week I mentioned that we had an event this week, but I couldn't say who it was gonna be. I felt like a YouTuber, like saying like, oh my God, I'm working on things. But we have Nathan Fielder coming tomorrow at 7 p.m. in Ackerman Grand Ballroom. We're way over capacity with like our RSVPs. So if you don't have an RSVP yet, good luck, Trevor. Sorry, I didn't ask you about that.
Oh, it's gone.
I think it's censored.
Yeah, it's
Okay, yeah, but Nathan Fielder tomorrow, 7 p.m. Recommend leave early because.
Okay. But we're back, okay, okay. Okay, Steve, can we say what's permission?
Hi everyone. Okay, so last week, CSC had our first staff meeting and we welcomed our new staff to CSC. It was really nice. We have our Slacks set up. Shout out to Jonathan for helping with that. Tomorrow we'll be having director transitions and we'll be starting work in the summer. Last week, I also helped to present a poster at the 2023 SEMO HCI year-end celebration, and I got to talk briefly with ABC DeLuca about the Student Coalition for Basic Needs and some of the stuff we have planned. But I know Eva also talked to him, so he also mentioned Eva. Shout out to Eva. And then we also had the CSE Service Summit last Saturday. It was a great success. We had our projects and everyone there to celebrate a great year for CSE. And we also had the chance to talk to the guest of honor, Dr. Stout from Center for Community Engagement and Social Change. And we kind of talked a little bit about how CSE and CESC can work together in the future. So we are scheduling a meeting during finals week to kind of further that conversation, just because CSE used to have ties with the Center for the Center for like Community Engagement, but it kind of broke off during COVID. So we're hoping that we can kind of come together and kind of unify our efforts again between CSC, CESC, as well as Volunteer Center. Last week, we also met with Project Lux, which is a service organization, and we accepted them as a new CSC project. So I'm going to be meeting with our advisor Pam tomorrow to see what the process is like for onboarding the new project. But we're very excited for that. I also have I also found an appointment for the CS Mini Fund, so I will get that person to fill in the application soon so that we can get it up and running. But that isn't very urgent, but just an FYI. I also helped to table at the appointments fair today, also joining the meeting with Paria, and I think a lot of like potential projects coming up, but definitely pushing out the appointments to the staff that applied to the office, and also pushing it to all the contacts that we have within the CSE space. So yeah, that's it for me.
Also, very much appreciation. But yes, one of the cultural affairs commissioner, I see that you have a report, so perfect there. Do you want to say anything out loud or okay? Okay. No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on to facilities commissioner. Like, sorry.
Okay, I might just talk loud, if that's okay.
Can you just speak slowly?
Yeah, I'll talk loud and slowly, okay? Like everybody else, we've been doing director and staff hiring. It's also there tabling last Wednesday and today. We, as a reminder, now have reusable mugs that have been launched in Kirkhoff Hall. Strongly encourage anybody to check it out. Got mine today, super easy, reduces waste, fantastic. Also want to give everybody a reminder about the study nights at Paul Pavilion. It's going to be next week. That's from Sunday to Wednesday, the 11th through 14th, 7 to 12. 7 p.m. to 12. So at night. Strongly encourage everybody to go there, especially, you know, we all know how it is during finals week. Every event on every space on campus is completely full. Great place to go, alternative to study. Free snacks too, so always great. Like Eva had said, we had a meeting about labor rights with a specific focus on kind of like the partnerships and the contracts the university upholds and is pursuing, looking at ways to change that in the future to make sure that they're ethical and have ethical labor practices. We also met with the folks from Bruin Shelter to discuss plans about the safe parking initiative. Our next steps on the side of the Facilities Commission is to set up a meeting with Vice Chancellor Michael Beck. We had him reach out back today and we're getting the meeting scheduled for the summer, so that's gonna be great. And then we're also forwarding that conversation with the Northwestwood Neighborhood Council.
So when we recommend that.
That's not guys, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I can send some notes after too, if that helps. Yeah, I got it written down. So that's good. We also met with the folks from the Basic Needs Coalition. This was alongside a lot of our other members of the USAC, so that was fantastic. It was about the long-term planning about what the coalition was going to look like, what our initiatives were, and then for me specifically, I was making sure to advocate on behalf of transportation, which is often forgotten when it comes to basic needs, but constitutes usually the second or third largest charge that students are paying on their daily basis. So we just want to make sure that transportation is still a focus for basic needs. We also had a meeting with the folks from the Veteran Resource Center. We were planning to meet with the transfer and LGBTQ resource centers as well, but unfortunately they had a last minute conflict and had to cancel on us. What we talked about with the Veterans Resource Center was their own ability or how they started and trying to kind of understand the process that they went through and apply that in Disability Cultural Center that we're also planning. We had a meeting with EVP and the Epicurious student advisor. We talked about labor rights in the dining halls and some of the work conditions that are very subpar and ways that we can go about trying to address that. I think it's going to be a little bit more on Eva's side, but I was happy to be part of that conversation and include some of the people from FAC that have been working on it this year. We also had a meeting with UCLA Transportation, the UCLA Government Community Relations team, and the advocacy group Streets for All. We're planning an initiative called Westwood Connected. Westwood Connected is currently being in the planning phase stages. We're going to propose it to our city councilwoman. Her name's Kitty Summer. So it's about planning about what that's going to look like, what our priorities were. And I made sure that we have a focus about the immediate safety improvements that are coming to the village. That's been our priority going forward. Still too fast. Yeah, so we'll see the notes. Notes are coming. Don't worry. We also had a. I'm so sorry. I got a few more. I'm almost there. I promise. I had a meeting today with UCLA Transportation as well. We were talking about the Bruin Access Van and ways that we can do improvements to the Bruin Access Van. We also were talking about parking initiatives, people with disabilities who still have to get a placard, and trying to make it so that people now, what permits you have to get when you do have a disability placard, what the rules are, and what's available for you as a student. We also had a meeting with the ASUCLA. We had a meeting with Roy before the big meet and greet that happened today. We were talking specifically about the cultural center, trying to find space for it. Then also making sure that we were in conversations with the groups that are trying to start the Latinx Resource Center, Asian American Pacific Islander Resource Center, and making sure that we can find a space for all three of us as we move forward. We also had and attended that meet and greet, which you can glance over that's not exciting. Tomorrow, too, just want to plug, I'm also on the Northwestwood Neighborhood Council. We have a transportation committee meeting tomorrow from 6 to 7 with Jarrett Thomas. He is a field rep. He's a deputy from Peter Rosowski's office. He's also in charge of transportation for all things Northwestwood Neighborhood Council, or I guess for all things CD5. So it's gonna be an exciting conversation to have about the school transit corridor and about Westwood Connected going forward. And then after that as well, there's the general meeting for the Northwestwood Neighborhood Council, starts at 7. Strongly encourage anybody to be there. They work very closely with things that we do in USAC. Great organization to be involved with. I'll send over the meeting notes. I apologize for this quick speaking, but yeah, thank you all very much.
You, okay, Financial Sports Commissioner, Sarah.
Hello. I hope everyone is having a nice week 10. I'm gonna keep this nice and short and brief because it is week 10. What have we? Oh, we're working on returning all the class materials. If anyone knows anyone who needs like lab coats or goggles or somehow eye clickers for the summer, we're also probably going to continue that for like ACES, BCES, and CSES. We are working on our initiatives for next year in hiring, and we were testing out the kinks in the New York Times, and it so far has worked for me and one of my directors. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys.
Love it. Short and sweet. Okay, Student Wellness Commissioner, Jennifer Tennant.
Hi, everyone. I'm joining on Zoom because I've been out sick, but things have still been happening. Thank God for the people in my office that are supporting me. We're now kickstarting training and transitioning between our old staff and our 46 new hires. Our assistant commissioners attended, like many others mentioned before me, the long-term planning meeting with the Basic Needs Coalition. We also have an update from the infectious disease management team. They're going to be decreasing COVID isolation rooms from the 150 currently down to 6 because there have like hardly been any use all school year, which is great news. And they are planning on maintaining vending machine testing, which is also great news. And all students should expect an email soon with all these new updates. As for like meeting with other officers about collaborations, I spoke really briefly with Tyra this week and with Chaying about different like mental health and also like anti-racism training and practices for our staff next year, different ways we can collaborate. So super excited about that. SWC had a successful end of the year banquet this last Friday. That was super fun. And then today was the last day for our basic needs gift card subsidy funded surplus, USAC surplus funded program. We've distributed in the span of like a week $17,000 to Bruins in Need, so that was super successful. We still have a little bit left. Officers, if there is a population that you have in mind that we could reach to target them and provide leftover gift cards to them, please contact me on Slack or email. I'll drop it in the chat, swcsubsidy@gmail.com. And yeah, we had our last event of the year, which is goat yoga, and it was super successful. We got lots of cute pictures from that. All right, that is all for me. Thank you.
I should definitely hope you feel better. Final, but yeah, okay. Cool. Going to our next Transit Representative, Tyra.
Hi, everyone. Real quick, before I go into the report, I was asking Megan initially to add an agenda item to go on.
You technically can, during the meeting add, you would just need to do 2 votes, one to add the item, one to make it an action.
So like Naomi mentioned, this past weekend, the After Latinx Collection had their first culture show, which I was able to support. And it was really lovely. It was so great. There was representation from Monica, from Mecha, from like the Black community. So it was just nice to see everybody coming together and like across cultural unity, which is something that I'm really big on. Monica also had a tote bag making event a couple of days ago. I made this really cool. Love Monica. ASU also had like a mom to see Little Mermaid event, so I was able to do that. It was so wholesome. I almost cried. And then, this past Sunday was the black and white ball. I have some of you on Instagram, so I saw me eating down. And then, the Transfer Leadership Coalition also had a transfer luncheon, which shout out to Evan. He came and he was supporting and like engaging with the transfers to see what we could work on for next year. I appreciate you so much for that. And that was a great event because, I got to see like firsthand what transfers want me to do specifically, but also like what I could raise for you all, and that's why I wanted to do like the transfer representative for each office. I'm also going to be working with ideas because they do not currently have like a transfer at weekend. And so I'm going to be reaching out to Jeffrey to see how we can start planning that. I already have someone who's willing to be the chair over it. I also wanted to see what the process would be like if I wanted to include a mental health commissioner under the TSR's office. I don't know if that's also a bylaw change, so that's something I'm interested in doing. I've also put out applications for an LGBTQI plus transfer weekend. I have one applicant, which is a great start, but it's not the best start. And that will close on June 30th, so if y'all could repost that on the Instagram, that would be great. I've also put like the general office hiring, that flyer is also there. I had the Jujutsu Kaisen watch party with PTSD and Emotion, which I'm really happy about because the first time that these transfer clubs have collaborated. So to spearhead that was great. I have an interview with the Daily Bruin about my experience as a transfer student this upcoming, actually it's tomorrow, my days are merging, so I'm excited for that. Additionally, the students with dependents, they're having their graduation ceremony coming up, and I did sponsor that. So if any of y'all know any students with dependents, or if y'all just want to show up for support, that will be on June 3rd. And like Janice mentioned, I stopped by her office and we're just like talking about different things. We also talked about how her office and mine can collaborate specifically on like a transfer mental health week, but also the Pan-African mental health week that I hosted this. Well, actually, it was this quarter, the date is still merging, but it's early this quarter, hoping to have that again next year. I'm also a McNair Research Scholar, and our end of year celebration is tomorrow, and I finally get to release the shackles of research, so I'm excited for that. And then I will be releasing a transparency report soon on like what the TSR's office has been doing. I will be looking through our Instagram, that's kind of like a tradition that previous TSRs have done, so I'll be doing that also. The Filipino Transfer Student Partnership, they're gonna have an event this week called Debut, which I also sponsored. It will be on the 10th. The formal event, it's gonna be really cute, so inviting you on now. That's also, it's not on my Instagram, but it's on there, so you can see it there. My coworker who's working under Alicia's office, he's gonna be one of the representatives under the Hip Hop Congress, but he reached out to me to see if I would support him in like planning Bruin Bash. So we're kind of negotiating if he can help me to reserve some tickets specifically for transfer students. So hopefully I can help him with that next year. And then similar to other council members, I also went to the meet and greet. And something specifically that I was able to kind of like think of on the spot, I guess, is working with ACCLA to provide meal tickets for transfers during rough times, so specifically during midterms and finals. I believe that's it. Yeah, good luck on your part.
Thank you so much. Perfect. And passing it on to our international student representative, Adam.
Hey everyone, I just have a couple of updates. So yesterday I met with a rep from International Bruins in Business, and we're planning a series of events for next year. And we're also planning a business mentorship program for international students. I talked to a couple of leaders with them. We discussed some ideas on how to increase international students' presence in UCLA athletics, which is something we're going to try and roll out next year. I'm meeting with the director of Battery Center tomorrow and meeting with my sole advisor, Jonathan, on Thursday. I applied to capital contingency, and we're working on figuring out how the ISR AAC appointments are going to work with Sujano. And I also briefly talked with Jonathan on working to increase CAPS availability for international students by having more multilingual counselors, which is something that we're gonna try and work on moving forward.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm gonna pass it out to our advocate. Wait, isn't that the geek one? The geek?
Hello, everybody. Well, first of all, before we get started, I know it's finals week, so I know everyone's under a little, 10 weeks. See, I'm off on weeks too.
Finals week.
It does go. There are finals after this week. Students will complain about that. There's plenty of finals week and our finals are this week. But no, good luck on your finals coming up then and on all your papers and those that are attending graduations. Good luck with that. But at this time, I don't have any updates.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, I just want a quick shout out to Stephen, your alumni rep is on too, so don't forget, we get through it. Yeah, oh, good. Yay. So just a couple things that I wanted to mention really briefly, so let me pull up my notes. So one of our folks from our marketing team, Christina, reached out for content for our 4 Pillars newsletter, which is an internal ASUCLA newsletter that features content from all 4 entities that we kind of send out organization wide and to other folks on campus. So if there's any specific initiatives that any of your offices want to highlight, or like a quote you want to give that you can include in there, feel free to respond back to that email, or if you want to just let any of us know content you want to include, we can follow up with her. It's all due Friday, probably by like 4 or 5 p.m. So if there's anything urgent, we can definitely get that out there. Also wanted to mention for Wellness Wednesday tomorrow, from 11 to 2 in the fun zone on A level. We're doing crafting and we're also giving out meal coupons. So $10 meal coupons, first come, first serve, until they run out. Yeah, so it's for our Wellness Wednesday is like regular programming that we do for ASUCLA. And usually it's like arts and crafts stuff, but we're doing some meal coupons also since it's 10th and finals. And also going to be doing for, I think I mentioned it last week too, but our study break cafe, which is like our little finals week pick me up. We're doing distributing Blue Books and Scantrons. Also going to have some $10 meal coupons at North Campus Student Center, I believe, and then also some on South Campus so that folks who are not in Ackerman for that event particularly can still, pick up some snacks for finals. So yeah, swing by. There'll probably be social media posts on it. So if you follow at ASUCLA, they'll be posting the locations. Oh yeah, tomorrow is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Bruin Fun Zone, which is just down the hall here in A level. Yeah, I think that's it for me. So I'll pass it off. Yeah, go ahead. Question.
What, can we not include?
Well, I mean, it's kind of really what it's meant to do is highlight initiatives of USAC and of your offices. So it's kind of open to whatever you want to include, but obviously there is a content limit because it's only so many pages. It's not like a 20-page newsletter. So I mean, we want to kind of keep it brief, but if you're not sure and you have a couple things, just send it to Christina and she can help pare it down for you if need be, or if you're like, hey, I have these 10 things, like what are a couple that would be good to highlight? She can give me some feedback. And I can also send, if it would be helpful, I can send a past iteration of the 4 pillars so that you can kind of see what's been in it before. Yeah, and then any photos too, like photos are great. That can be a little bit more visual.
And then follow up on that, Megan, I know you reached out to include appointments on, did she ever get back to you?
They got back to me. I asked if it was appropriate for us to include our office applications and our appointment applications as well, and they said they usually don't do advertisements. But if we appoint someone or if we have like specific things we want to celebrate and highlight, then we can add that on. But no appointment advertisement. Yeah, we can, that's more better suited for posting on social and stuff and our digital screens and whatnot around the union. So I think Jonathan probably has some updates for you all on that.
Ooh, okay. Well, first we'll go to Stephen. Who's on Zoom, right? Okay. Stephen.
Oh, sorry, did you say my name?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Yeah. So, hi everyone. I'm just going to quickly introduce myself because I think in my absence we've already transitioned. My name's Steven. I was at UCLA for 10 years, 4 years for undergrad and 6 years for my PhD. So I have quite a lot of institutional knowledge. I was involved in a lot of capacities during my final years. I was on the board of directors of ASUCLA. And I've also been involved in the academic senate and stuff like that. So beyond like my alumni capacities, I'm more than willing to talk to anyone. I'm a complete open book. I have probably the same frustrations that you might have at some points during your time at UCLA. And so if you ever want like a safe space to discuss issues that come across, I'm more than happy to talk to you about that. I will say, since I finished my PhD this year, I've been more busy than I expected. And so that's kind of prevented me from coming to all these meetings. I recently got married and I just had my honeymoon, so I've been gone the last month. But work has also been crazy. So we will be, I think, looking at trying to transition to a alum that can be a little bit more involved in the next year. But in the meantime, I'll continue serving. And I think, if anything, I'll be absolutely more responsive if you reach out to me directly. More than happy to meet at any point in time. It's just very difficult for me to make these meetings. And just a couple kind of side points. I think one thing that was brought up about nominating new members to the ASUCLA Board of Directors. I just wanted to kind of point this out because it was an issue this past year. I think not everyone ever always realizes how much power the members of the ASUCLA Board of Directors have. And so I think just keep that in mind when you start looking at candidates to assume that position, because they can actually make some financial decisions that supersede USAC. And so I just want to point that out, that it's not just another nomination, that you should really consider the implications and take that particular nomination seriously and make sure the students you nominate are qualified for the task at hand. And beyond that, just because we had talked about it with the previous board, I'll just bring up, there has been some discussion of starting an alumni network, essentially of past members of USAC. In order for that to really happen, we need some like dedicated champions, most likely alum, that are willing to kind of be the initial team leadership for that organization. And so if this is something that you're interested in, if you can kind of essentially, if you're in contact with some of the alum that might be interested in championing such a organization, I'm more than happy to work with them to set something up. And I think there was also talk about doing something on the CEC side. That's something that we can also discuss as well. So more than happy to reach, essentially talk to you offline any day of the week. Just quite difficult for me to join these meetings, so feel free at any point to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk to you, strategize, or just be a support force. So thank you.
Thank you, Steven. And I just had a quick question. What's the goal for the alumni network? Like to do?
What's the goal?
Yeah. Just to
Oh yeah,
have,
so that's a great question. So I think there's going to be the goals I can think of, and then there's going to be goals that members of USAC could probably think of. From my perspective, I think that the UCLA Alumni Association is not as engaged as they should be with current students. And so I think that's an opportunity to change that to some degree. Also, get USAC alum more involved and more connected with members of current USAC, and might be able to serve more directly as mentors in case issues pop up. You'll notice that there's going to be a lot of things that members of your staff explore this year, that this is not the first year that the ideas come across. There's been basically obstacles that have been put in front of past members, and ultimately things didn't go through. I tried to get rid of a GRE requirement for graduate student admissions, and I spent close to a year trying to champion that, and we're still not at a point where we're in there. So the point is, there's a lot of past knowledge, getting students involved, getting basically more connected with alums. So those are just two ideas. But it doesn't always have to be work. It can also just be social engagement or networking. So
Yeah, definitely. I think this ties well with Eliana's idea from previous council in making like an archive of information that would definitely be useful. So I will definitely be following up and feel free to anybody else would like to help with that initiative. With that, but yeah, thank you. Okay, cool. Sorry. Yeah, oh,
I did. Let's see, today I had a wonderful time at Gold Plaza. I got to learn a lot about Jonathan, the rep. Jonathan was there because he was dressed in a carrot outfit. Y'all, the carrot, I'm convinced it's Jonathan, I swear. I gave this information to Naomi last week, I think in the state rooms. She was gonna contact school, I think, to get some tabling done at orientation for appointments. Also, they're freshmen and then transfer orientations, you can do that both, so you can capture a bunch of incoming students. They might not be able to apply yet, but you can pique their interest. And then, what else? Yeah, have come hang with me in Poly to study. Well, I won't be there, but, and that's kind of it. Trying to help you all with appointments and, once your general graphic is done for appointments, let me know because I will have, when it's on social, I'll have rec share on our networks as well. And let's see what else. Oh, meeting about Brew and Bash tomorrow. Evan and I are gonna meet about Woodland Sunset with Nick and Aaron. And Eva and I are gonna meet so I can get her the best people for her things, her safe park and something else. Oh, Brew and Dine. Yeah. Then then I'll connect you with Megan for intramurals. Okay, good. That's all I got.
thank you. Oh, Carrot Man.
Well, no comment. Hey, hello, it's me. What do I got? Happy 5, no, happy 10. I actually, like, I have it in my calendar, I promise, I know. Yeah, okay. I've said it again, I said it before, I'll say it again. If your predecessor has outstanding bills, please follow up with them. The only one that I haven't heard back from is CSC. And to my current knowledge, this may be different. We can talk about it individually. The ones that I have heard from but are not yet complete are CEC, CAC, and ISR. I will do a separate audit of that tomorrow morning. So if that's incorrect, that's okay. And office access, who here has gotten access to their office? Woo, that's not. Okay, nice. All right, well, if you have any problems, you let us know. If you have big things you need to move out, you let us know. We're here to assist with that as well as the BMs down here at the window. Cool, appointments. One, just like a general note on appointments, BOD is extremely important and absolutely we should be focusing on filling those. I believe it's, I mean, my correct, it's 3 positions, yeah, 3 roles for BOD. Then there's a singular 1-year term that's opening up because one of our current members is retiring early, graduating early. Same difference. I wish. But I do want to encourage you also, that this is, I know there's a lot going on right now, but this is like some of your last FaceTime with students before summer. So really be thinking about your other appointments also. A vast majority of these are going to be filled in the next month or 2, and this is your last opportunity to get some FaceTime with people. So think about that. I know it's a lot, but do what you can. And then for appointments, we did get a request from Megan for help with advertising from ACCLA. So there's a couple ways to go about this. The first is if you, yes. Oh, okay. if you are posting on your own, if you tag ASUCLA, all you have to do is tag us, we'll automatically repost it. So simple as that, give us a tag. If you'd like us to initiate the post, like you want us to make a post on the ASUCLA Instagram, what I need from you is the details of what you want us to post, what you want us to say, all that kind of stuff. If you want ASUCLA marketing to make the graphic, then I need the details on what you want in that graphic, what you're looking for. And then I will submit a marketing request to our marketing department on your behalf to do those things. So if you have that interest, please get in contact with me with, frankly, just as many details as you can, and then we'll do the rest. Trainings, Thursday is our admin mixer. At noon in the staterooms. I really want to encourage you all to prioritize this. I know that it's week 10. I know that it's hard to get out in the middle of the day. But this is, I think we have about 25 to 30 higher level admin that have RSVP'd and are going to come on Thursday to speak to you. And I'll be frank, the last few training sessions, most of you weren't there. And I get that, that's fine. But I will say, it might look a little bad on you all if only 2 people show up and there's a ton of admin there. So be thinking about the image that you're portraying to a large group of administrators on Thursday. That's what I have to say on that. There will be food as always, noon, and we are going to start promptly kind of around noon. The couple ones we've been, kind of letting people come in, but we're going to start around noon. There are admin that have to come in and out. So we're going to get going right away. Yes.
In that case, I was gonna start exactly at noon, because reason frankly, like, we didn't get everyone's schedule for these, so I'm not surprised. I'll be able to make it. I know I have a class right after, so I won't be able to say it. So we start to get an hour with me, but rather close, if you can definitely try and make it out, because I would really appreciate it. I would really appreciate it. Don't really want to waste anybody's time. So definitely want them to be able to talk to y'all. And you be able to talk to them and form this connection. But you will also have other opportunities. Don't forget that if you really can't make it out. So yeah. Katie.
It's in the Kirkhoff staterooms. 12 to 2. Lunch will be served. It's actually going to be quite good lunch. I looked, I'll be honest, yeah. I think so. The lasagna was great. Well, a personal preference, but definitely better than the sandwiches. I can say that for sure.
And the staterooms is the first floor on the right towards, what is it?
By the transfer center, across from the Veteran Center. And in terms of trainings otherwise, so I apologize that both of your 2 trainings that were supposed to happen this week and last week canceled day of. But life happens, you all know I'm busy. CARE has already rescheduled with me. We're gonna be doing both of these ones in the fall. I don't know if you really care right now, but we'll be doing that on October 10th at 6 p.m. in this room right before your meeting. And then I'll book the Title IX one for a similar time. So you all have that coming up. There's some more schedules sent this today. If you're one of my if I'm your point person and you haven't signed up for a one-on-one, please do. And then the last thing I have is ASUCLA is doing e-waste on Friday. So as you're going into your offices and especially if you're the one that like getting new computers and such, we do e-waste maybe once a quarter, maybe twice a quarter. So if you want to get it out now, now's the time to do it. It comes on Friday. I'll send the details in the Slack, but you essentially just take it down there. You can bring it to us and we'll take it down there. That's all I got. If you haven't done your hiring stuff, you have outstanding things. I just want to make it crystal clear, you will not be getting paid. That's all I have.
Like to say, we got a BOD up right now.
Oh, tomorrow's the payday, I think, for the pay period that closed from me, so that it's not. It's gonna be the next
If we're having problems for like our other employer at UCLA to like sign that little form, will we still be getting paid just like later?
Yes.
Yes.
But like,
We'll get you your money. We'll get you your money, you just won't come until we get all of
And if there's any questions or like if there's confusion or it's difficult to have that conversation, we can connect whoever with our ESCLA HR team. Very helpful in all those scenarios. And can like just get the two from our top. Be like, yeah, get that. Because we unfortunately can't do anything in these paths unless without. Definitely.
Okay, cool. That, yeah, okay. Going into all business. Okay, so garden head. Shift vote on summer USAC meeting and forum. The only discussion was. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, so. I need a motion. Okay, Lisa, can you hear us now? Still no? Okay, yeah, okay, sorry about that. We'll make sure that Sarah gets the mic next time. We're just gonna move that discussion to another, so don't worry about it. So now we're gonna talk about voting on our summer USAC meetings and forum for that. So yeah. Yeah, or is there? All right.
Just to start off the discussion for like summer meetings. I believe last year we USAC met bi-weekly, so every other week. And I wanna like continue doing that. Do you guys like still want Tuesday? Or we put on Tuesday? I think someone said they had a conflict.
I think that was Katie had a conflict and wanted it would have to be 7:30. Was it?
38.
So, and then we had, I believe Jess, after that responded with, maybe we can switch today to Monday or Wednesday, to start at 7.
I am also okay with that. So Monday at 7?
Can I give you a second? I need my time converter. Monday at 7 PST. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tuesday, 11 a.m. I like that.
Okay,
But
perfect.
Adam and Chia, I know they were the other people who are going to be in a different continent, or is that fine with you guys?
That would be 5 a.m. for me, but I think I can start.
Are you sure?
Well, but there's no other time at first. And at least one of us is gonna be inconvenienced, so it's fine.
Yeah. So, well, okay, and then with that, just knowing, would we have to get the agenda like posted, if it would it just be Thursday? Yeah, without for you, man.
Yes.
So, okay, so looks like Monday is 7 PM. Bi-weekly during school. Oh, sorry. My bad.
No, you're so good. Yeah, unfortunately, because of the time zone, that is gonna be like my 11 a.m. and I'm working. So it's gonna be pretty tough for me to join in. Yeah.
Wait, are you working?
Because I'm working on the weekdays, but at the same time, so the only time that works for me would be your Friday and Saturday evenings. But I know people express preferences like not to work on the weekends.
But it's still working then.
Yeah, I think she'd still be working at 10 a.m.
Would you
Yeah,
be
because I
working-
work in the day.
Cause I think no offense, I'm preferred. So. Yeah.
I think you guys
Did like a morning vibe. No.
I think.
Okay, okay.
But I think JD had mentioned things that were for very chat.
Could you mind pulling those up?
Yeah, Friday or Saturday, early mornings PST, or Friday or Saturday mornings PST. Yeah,
But also if it's no, I'm willing to like wake up at like it's like 2 a.m. or like 4 or 5 a.m. But if it's really tough, I think we can stick to Tuesday and then I will try my best to make it, but I need to probably talk to my supervisors, but I think it's going to be pretty hard for me. But I will update you guys if that is the best time for everyone else.
Yeah, since this is the one day out of the week meeting, I would definitely recommend talking to the supervisor because, yeah, because Friday, Saturday didn't work for most of everybody, and then for our advisor, I believe it was also kind of a no-no. So as of right now, I think the Monday at 7 p.m. is what we will stick with, but please keep us updated. That's also why we're gonna go into discussion of lowering quorum for our summer meeting. So yeah, so Monday at 7. Sorry.
Alicia said in the chat, keep Tuesday at 7, maybe just the as to why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Alicia, the reason we can't do Tuesday at 7 or that it's not the best is because Katie has a commute call, so it's.
So what was that?
Katie has a commute call, which would start at like 8.
I'm sure like I could zoom in. Well, I probably won't get home by like 7:30. I could just like.
Can that also be a supervisor question?
Well, I have like Tuesdays is the one day we have to be in person in the office. It's like our office day for everyone. But I think we like, cause we work a 9-hour day, so I'm probably gonna be leaving around like 6 to 7. I don't know. I mean, like, we can also see how it goes. Like, we could try Tuesday. If that works. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay, so, and then, okay, Sarah, last comment, and then let's go back to setting of the day.
This is about, well, last year I know we did like every other week. Are we gonna be meeting every week over the summer or?
Bi-weekly, what we start with.
Oh, bi-weekly. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
So
And
we'll
it's
be
like-
continuing meetings bi-weekly at Tuesday at 7 p.m. starting June 20th.
That's the week after finals week,
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So we just have to make sure.
You have them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because unless you think. Yeah. Okay. Cool, so recapping, Tuesday, 7 p.m. bi-weekly. And now let's go into a quorum discussion real quick. So traditionally, we've had it lowered to 8 during the summer, just to accommodate schedules like setting your bra, having job, with less playing. Okay, so is that something we want to continue to have?
Yes.
Any opposition to lowering to 8 people for quorum? So we just go ahead and vote on this. So can I get a motion to join you vote for the day and the quorum?
Maybe just form a meeting.
Oh,
Yeah, just to prove it.
I have a motion
or reduce quorum or reduce number.
to what?
To
Yeah.
Awesome. Have a second? Jonathan motion, need a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 to 0 to 0, and that's approved. No. Yes.
Is most everybody gonna be zooming in? Cause we would need to book a space if anybody is in person, but I'm just.
Oh, For summer, I said we're,
all summer.
yeah,
I just want to make sure.
yeah. If for like our last meeting right before school starts, maybe it'd be good to like, if everyone's back in town. Yeah, for now. Zoom. Okay, cool. Okay, moving on to our next topic. Thank you all for that. So vote to sign. Sorry, don't have my glasses. Vote to sign sheets for all letter to Congressman Brad.
All right, fantastic. Do I have to read through the letter or can I just like explain it?
I don't do it this way.
Yeah, okay, good. So both these letters are very interrelated. They're both about the Spool to Transit Corridor. To give you guys a quick explanation, if you guys haven't heard about the STC before, Spool to Transit Corridor is a proposed rail line that would be connecting the San Fernando Valley to UCLA and ultimately down to LAX. Be reducing your commute time from LAX from like, an hour to about 20 minutes and would cost you $1.75 to get there. You get right to UCLA's campus, but that all depends on if we get the system built correctly. There's a big debate right now about which alternatives we choose. There's 6 proposed by Metro. 3 of them are a monorail that would be running in the median of the 405 freeway. The other 3 are heavy rail or a subway system that would be running underground. The big difference between these is the monorail system would be much slower, have a lower capacity, and like I said, it would be running on the side of the 405 freeway, which means that it wouldn't be connecting with the communities that need it. You're connecting to the side of a freeway versus the heavy rail alternatives. Those are actually connecting with the communities or would have a direct station at UCLA. Alternatives would place a station over a mile away. Last year, in last year's council, we had submitted a proposal with the EVP and the Facilities Commission that was all about the Spool to Transit Corridor, and we got all council members to unanimously sign on to backing a heavy rail alternative. We also had a similar initiative passed in the Graduate Students Alliance, or Graduate Student Association. They also backed the heavy rail alternative. What this letter is to Brad Sherman is it's basically that stance, the stance that is pro heavy rail. And it's to Brad Sherman, who is one of our congressmen. He represents the Valley, and he's kind of been one of the more hesitant people to support the heavy rail alternative, the higher capacity of the alternative, an alternative that, Metro and UCLA students absolutely need. There's a really great statistic. Metro went out and they surveyed the community. They found that 93% of people support the heavy rail. That's like kind of an unheard of thing when it comes to, anything local government to have that much support for any initiative. So we just want to make sure that by signing this letter, we're adding pressure onto Brad Sherman to make sure that he does listen to his constituents, listen to the needs of students, and listen to those who are going to be using this system on a daily. So yeah, I can definitely answer any questions. This one's pretty straightforward. And yeah, you guys got an opportunity to, Naomi's already signing, she's already ahead, but I think this is going to be a voting item, right? So we'll take it to a vote if nobody has any questions or any concerns, and then we can just vote to sign as you said.
Okay, cool. All right, so go ahead and vote on this. So yeah, thank you for the amazing summary. I really appreciate it. Definitely heard about this last, so definitely full support. But for other votes, can I have a motion?
To vote on to sign the Streets for All letter to Congress Brad Sherman about the Spool to Transit Corridor.
Second.
I second.
Oh, okay. Oh, they're voting.
Just get it right.
Okay, make a motion. We should have a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. What? 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Janice, you wanna vote? 15. Okay, cool. What's the word? All again, all abstaining. And then all again. And cool, 1 person in vote, that's okay. So 0. Perfect, and that is approved. Okay. Perfect. So have you watched this on all individual positions or just like USAC council?
We're just gonna sign it as a USAC council because this is giving right to letter, like neighborhood council, so just the USAC grants perfect.
Okay. USAC. Cool, cool. Evan, it's still with you.
Okay, I'm going through this one real quick. It's a very similar topic. The only difference is that this has more of an equity component to it. So this is talking about what the impacts of this full transit corridor is going to be on the local communities. And is ensuring that when Metro conducts its, environmental review process, when it's looking at these, that it's considering things like the housing impacts, making sure that all land that's Metro adjacent to these like stations is 100% renewable or 100% renewable, 100% affordable housing. So it's very similar language, also talking about things like the preference for heavy rail and preference for a UCLA station. I would say that the big difference between these is that this one does have that equity component and is talking about, the local land use around these stations to ensure that, communities that should be benefiting from this line are actually the ones benefiting and they're not being displaced. Can definitely answer any questions about this one too, maybe a little bit more complicated, but again, very similar manners or very similar subject.
Thank you.
I hate that. Okay. Okay, can I have a motion? Jonathan second. All in favor, please raise your hand. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Gabby. 13. 13 to 0 to 0, and that is approved. Okay.
Could I ask a quick question?
Dennis?
Yes, if you can hear me. When you call us out to to raise our hands or to vote, is it because you're encouraging us to vote, or in case we didn't hear, or is it because we're trying to
No,
reach
just
a
in case people
minimum
didn't hear.
number?
Yeah, just in
Okay,
case people
got
didn't
it.
hear, is the main thing.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. That was good. And then moving on to our next thing. Okay, so vote to restrict general representative free unused surplus fund. Oh, let's get the mic. Ooh.
It's just quick of it. It's quick of it. Jonathan, would you like me to promote Eliana?
Yeah, I think it'd be good for her to also speak on it more than I could have.
Okay. I am promoting her.
Hi, Eliana, would you like to talk a bit more about, specifically, the surplus restriction?
Hi, thank you. So yeah, I've just been talking with Simone Anderson, who's been doing great work on the ASU side of the surplus. And it just takes a lot of time to get everything organized, get everyone hired. So we're gonna need to restrict the surplus. If we don't restrict it, then it'll just go it won't be used for the purposes intended for. It'll just go back into the general pool, which would defeat the whole point of providing funds for these really important programs. So let's go and restrict it.
So especially since this is a new council, would you be able to provide a bit more detail on what the funds are being used for?
I would be able to do that. Basically, it's on the surplus requests form. It's specifically ASU detail. Specifically on assistance, programming, transportation, and supplies. I think the work that Eliana has done for the past year has been really impactful, and I think it's been really great. And I've been in some communication with Simone as well. So I ultimately, I think it would be important to restrict it just because of the programming, and it's important, and it's already been allocated as well. So I see why not already, just restrict it so that those funds are able to be used by ASU. Again, there are important programs that they're planning, and I think in equity talk and equity speaking, I think it's essential. Yeah, Eliana, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you so much, Jonathan. You're awesome. Yeah, just for detail, it's going to be hiring, transportation, supplies for There's academic support program, which is the Black student run retention program at UCLA for Black students. There's students heightening academic performance through education, which is reaching out to Black high school and community college students and providing them with tutoring, mentoring, help with college applications, stuff like that. And there's academic AP African education program, which is for like middle school, elementary school, Black and brown students, and does works with them on holistic development, teaching Black history. So it's just going to go to fund the hiring of staff and for these programs, supplies for these programs, and transportation for students heightening academic performance through education and African education program, because they got to get out there to the community colleges, high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, just to be able to reach the students.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. No, yeah, I'm definitely aware of a project. I also had a, but yeah. Okay. Just because I'm curious, were they able to fund the surplus funds, or was it just because with delays in hiring?
I think it's yeah, it just takes a while for hiring. I think it's just because they need more time for hiring and for getting. I think that's what it is. Yes. Also, I just wanted to add these are all programs run by students like us, and also have dealt with some discrimination and mistreatment recently from community programs office, which is why there's been a struggle to keep these summer programs going, because they go back a long way. So yeah, it would be really important.
Hi, Ileana. I miss you. I love you so much. Thank you so much for sticking the fun. So for everybody who doesn't know already, I'm also on the African Union staff. I'm also the transfer success coordinator. But we did already spend some funds, but because of like some issues that are going on with like ASU elections, things like that, we had to kind of focus our attention towards finalizing staff for next year. But we did spend some funds, but we just have to go back and make sure we spend all of it. But I do want to emphasize like how important the projects are for just Black retention and like getting Black people at UCLA in general. That's why it's so important for us to have these funding. ASU historically has relied heavily on USAC funding to just sustain itself as the only like organization that's catered towards specifically like representing Black interests at UCLA. So just say that. But
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and vote on this. Oh, sorry, question.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we have the line item correct. So it's that $37,500, like that's 37,000.
The ASU.
Yeah.
They didn't have it, I just. had it.
37,900.
Okay, sweet. Thank you. That's
Awesome.
And
Cool. Any other questions, comments, concerns while they are here?
I also miss you, Eliana. I'll miss you.
Eliana, you are loved. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and vote on this.
Oh, sorry, 1 second. I sent a message in the chat. But I guess I should just speak instead of type for sake of time. So just to clarify, could someone clarify the ask of what it means to like limit, what is it? To restrict the unused surplus fund?
Yeah.
So what would voting for versus against, like what that exactly means?
So, basically we allocated surplus funds, the previous council, to the various organizations, events, programs, planning, on that surplus sheet. So ASU and their project didn't get a chance to use all of the funds that they were previously allocated in the limited amount of time that they had. That was kind of an issue that we're hoping to remedy next year, getting our surplus a lot earlier, so to avoid this in the future years. But since they got their surplus allocation a little late in the game and weren't able to use all the funds, what this restriction would do is that at the end of the fiscal year, if I'm understanding correctly, the funds would technically go back, but then when we go to vote our council to vote on surplus allocation, these funds will already be set aside so that ASU can continue to use them in the next academic.
Got it. So voting in favor right now would mean that they are
They would keep
able
the
to
fund.
access their funding in the future.
Yes,
Okay, got it. Thank you.
no problem at all. Great question. Okay, yeah, anybody has any questions, feel free. I know there's a lot of new terms, so definitely willing to stop and write that down. So yeah, okay, so we'll go ahead and vote on this. Can I have a motion? Perfect, our motion.
We got it. We got it.
Motion, Megan seconds, all in favor, please raise your hand. 11, 12, 13, 14. Awesome, okay, 14-0, and that is approved. Thank you all so much. I definitely am looking forward to the amazing work that will be used with these funds. Very well deserved, and thank you, Eliana, for coming tonight and for speaking to us. I appreciate all the work that you did and continue to do. Sarah, is that a hand question or just not learned yet? Okay, slide. Okay.
I love you all. Y'all are the best.
Love you too. Happy graduation.
Thank
Slay.
you. Thanks, Naomi. Thanks, Megan. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Okay, we are almost done, y'all. So we're going on to our next discussion, discussion on reappointing ASU appointment search committee members.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So this was a,
Way you can get closer to your mic. It's kind of low on our end.
yeah, can you hear? Is that better? Hello? Hello?
It's kind of better. I'm saying.
Okay, I'm just gonna, sorry, I think it also might be because I'm sick, but I will try to speak loudly if you can hear me now.
That's way better.
Great, okay. So I brought up the discussion item of maybe not reappointing, but just like moving around the ASC members, because I think given that the like lack of applicants for the ASU CLA board of directors that we discussed at the beginning of this meeting, and ooh, I think I'm getting disconnected. Okay, my mic is moving again. I was saying that given the lack of applicants for the ASU CLA board of directors, and oh my god, I'm cutting out again. I'm so sorry. And just so far, working with Sujana and Gabby, I think that the appointment search committee needs more manpower. And I did volunteer for the position in the heat of the moment.
Are you pausing or cutting out?
I think I'm cutting out. Okay. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Should I just type?
It ends that with sorry, I couldn't move along. And so it ended that saying with the recent lack of applications for BOD and then out there. Oh, but sorry, very kind of okay. Yes, so it is possible to replace myself on the appointment search committee with another member, or even better, add more council members onto the appointment search committee. I believe the bylaws for the appointment search committee, it was only 30 question mark, or was it?
I mean, it's an internal USAC committee, so if you wanted to add a rule, there's no problem with that. And it's the function of the committee itself isn't one where it's like having the specific number of members is like necessary to its functionality. Cause it's more about outreach, right?
Yeah. I actually have the remedy for this. I was talking with one of the previous USAC presidents Velasquez. And kind of the idea we is still having, because in the past, under the president's office, they had appointment directors. So thinking of bringing that back to be able to assist y'all, I would want y'all in the hiring process for that director, so that my power to like to kind of help y'all with this. So I definitely will be in communication there, but basically you'd have two people helping y'all that aren't council members, because I know we're already kind of juggling a lot, stretched pretty thin. So I don't know if adding an additional council member would even help. But I will say, Jess, your concern is very valid. I know it's very difficult with the BOD. Like this turnaround has been sickening. So I definitely understand, but I definitely, I don't feel like it's representative of the entire open committee, how it's gonna be going forward. It's just this one appointment that we are really just trying here. So I know we're all trying our best. So I definitely think over the summer, we'll be able to really break it down, and I'll be able to better support y'all in this as well. But I think going forward with that appointment director, just would be definitely a great help. So I will definitely try and get that finalized once I've done my. Does that sound like it would help?
She dropped Michelle. Right?
Oh.
Like, yeah. As a member, like, like,
What we learned is just that like appointments can be hard to advertise, because compared to like naming the specific USAC offices and like the position, it's just like people aren't familiar with USAC, but people are even less familiar with USAC appointments. And I think some of the names of the appointments, like if I had a director of like marketing, then like they would know, okay, like I'm gonna be marketing, but like if they were to sit maybe on like the board of directors, like they don't really know, and then it doesn't also entice them to like learn more info about it, because they already don't know just based off that name. All that is to say, I think definitely doing that public outreach is super important, but I almost think it's more important, more effective for us to do more personal one-on-one like outreach, and also connecting to previous appointments, because previous appointments will be able to like describe the work that they do best. And so we can either bring them back, or we can just talk about coming back, or we can have them reach out to people who they think would probably be suited for the role. Yeah, those are some of my ideas.
Okay. And then.
Just really quick, like going off of what you said, I've been collecting information about each of the committees, and putting them all together. But I need your help because people do not respond to me. So if you are looking over a committee, I would love, like if you're having to appoint for a committee specifically, I would love if you could collect that information and give it to me. Because then I'm also working with Karen Hedges. So we can put that all on the website. Because the website's really lacking, and I think that's like just really sad. So thank you.
Definitely thank you for your work on that. Well, okay, sorry, quick comment on something that mentioned as well. I know we mentioned like towards the beginning of the meeting, like last council, there was 10 BOD applications. Just to say, ARC only interviewed 5, so we exactly like I don't want to say that's like even a fair comparison. Like we're able to shoot out the gate, and there was more. I want to say more that we could have done with the series quite a little different, especially the transitions being a little rough. But yeah, okay, go ahead, pass it on.
Yeah, I just want to quickly echo what has been said. I think that when we kind of advertise for USACs, like appointment wise, it can be really confusing because there's a lot of different like expectations for what each appointment looks like. I mean, they're not all uniform, they're not all stipended, they're all covering very different topics. So I think that when we just say like, apply for an appointment, it can be very overwhelming or like not specific enough to entice people. I think that if we take more on as like an individual office, like for me, like I applied like the John Wooden Center Board of Governors. When I just talk to people about USAC appointments, how they're interested, I'm like, oh, you'll be in charge of the gym. People are like, they peak up, you know, they perk up, they care about that type of stuff. So I think that like when we actually talk about like the specifics of what each committee is doing, that's a lot more interesting than just like kind of that general pitch about, you know, there are appointments, those are available. I think we really kind of have to get a little bit more specialized in order to get the people that we're looking for.
I definitely agree. Wait, Lori, did you hear that?
Okay.
Wait, sorry.
When you're hiring for your offices and some people maybe get lots of applications and really awesome people that you can just so many applications, you should bring a agent, especially if they're going to they're still involved in this meeting.
Yeah. Like, happy year, but guess what? And even like recommending a position there based on that, which I know is more on our end, but definitely there's a place for that. General, so we can definitely use them in other cases. So yeah, so I definitely love the idea of kind of advertising for not only the that you particular your office make, but all of us just kind of be in the supportive role in outreach and supporting our appointment search. Definitely needed through reposting. Definitely gonna be in communication, trying to get us involved in the freshman summer program, because I'll be here for majority of the summer, and the transfer summer program as well, and college summer institute. See what orientation fairs that they're having, so I can try and get some incoming freshmen and transfers involved in the process. I think that'll be a great way to fill some of the appointment spots. But yeah. And definitely we're gonna follow up with Jonathan about that advertisement for ASCCLA. So I think that will help as well. They have a huge following. Yeah. Also love the idea of, I heard earlier, we were sending the department emails. I think that'll help as well, especially as people start looking for roles to occupy their time during summer and fall. We do have time on our side. Got it. Okay. But our main focus, beauty appointments. So we need that time. So yeah, definitely full force on that. Oh, yeah, sir.
No, one last thing is just, I would encourage everyone to verify that their appointments that they actually have to do are correct, for your phone call.
Okay, yeah, so if everyone could take a moment to do that. They should be logged into workflow if you haven't yet. Like, I know that was a big task. And if you have questions on workflow, we need those answered pronto, so we get this started and finish. Okay, cool. Thank you for that discussion. I really think that was amazing. Any final comments before we move on to the next topic? All right, let's go ahead and move on. So discussion to have USAC meetings finals week. Megan, okay, I think this.
We can board it. We can board it.
Discussion closed.
I'm sorry, could we go back to the appointments search committee?
Okay, so great point. Okay, yeah, sorry, Jen's back. Okay, my bad. So yes. What do you want?
Just because I dropped out of the call, so I don't know if something was said, but are we doing anything about, does anyone else have like the capacity to join the search committee, or are we all just like kind of, sorry, I'm dropping. Are we all like shouldering, just like re-shouldering responsibility? Everyone's gonna reach out in different ways.
It was kind of the latter part of what she said, but if you definitely feel the need to not be on the search committee anymore, then we can, for the conversation, for your
Okay, is there anyone at the meeting right now who feels they have capacity to join to the search committee? I just truly think that if we want this to be done well, the structure right now is not working.
When I mentioned the appointment structure, yeah. Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry, that was an important aspect of this. Sorry, my brain is really everywhere. But I mentioned that, I talked to the president about having, appointment director that would help support the appointment search committee. So do you feel like, having one or two people to help support you all, in this process would work to keep you in the search?
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds great.
Okay, so I'm planning on getting my applications out this week. I'll definitely prioritize hiring that. But we will definitely have it by summer so we can fulfill our remaining requirements. But for right now, we just need to focus on which everyone is gonna help them. Okay,
And as far as the appointment directors, I think what they would really be helpful for support, it's just that like, I think the members of ASU right now just don't have the additional like capacity to like make new flyers, like just for this, or like think of things like that, so I feel like that's.
okay, and just echoing what that said for people on Zoom, say that it's gonna be helpful in making flyers, graphics, which we can also reach out for ASUCLA with their marketing directors as well, to take that burden off of everybody. They got staff, they got money. Okay, but yeah, we're gonna use them. Okay, cool. Just, that sound good. I don't wanna kind of dismiss, just wanna make sure that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds
okay,
great.
perfect.
The last thing I just want to follow up on is how exactly do we reach out to ASU CLA marketing so I can get started on that?
Jonathan, Slack him. Oh, Beat Squad, yes, but Jonathan specifically for that one. Go ahead and reach out. It kind of gave a layout of kind of what to do, but if you just want, I'll go through it really quickly. If you want to ASUCLA to kind of just repost something, make sure you tag them, they'll repost it automatically. If you need them to actually make a flyer, make sure it is as detailed as possible in what you want, send it to Jonathan, he'll send it to the marketing team. Was there one?
Posts are.
Okay, if you want ASUCLA to actually post on their Instagram with a large following, make sure you send all the details again for that. And that is all. But yeah, that's how we do that.
Okay, thank you everyone so much. That answered everything. Amazing.
Awesome. Tyra, comments? Yeah.
Like you're already posting for these.
Yeah, there is like a cost associated with the marketing team. We'll absorb that cost from this one, but it's not like a all time, yeah.
Use them once every blue moon. Yeah. Yeah, it's DM them. They're coming.
Yeah, there's another comment too is, the Soul has its own IG account as well that we can advertise.
How large you follow?
So that's why, thank you for Soul is so often. I don't know their following, but I hear.
We do like that. I was there. So we might be able to send it to Soul as well, so we can use our avenues. We have definitely a bunch of lanes that we have at our disposal. So let's just make sure that we try and do that. I know y'all have already just been trying to do a lot of work, and I really do appreciate it. But yeah, any final comments before we move on to the next discussion item? Once or twice? So, okay, next. So are we voiding the discussion of having a segment final, because we're gonna do just the 20th? And on that 20th, we're gonna make sure that we have all the people ready to come in and come in the council, basically opening statement, closing statement, question period, for the BOD appointment at the least.
I do have a question. What if a person is not able to come on the date? Or is it just like, you literally? They have to.
We have to all either do that, like they have to, or like. Okay. Yeah, that part. But it is the week after finals, so I'm hoping like it won't disappear, like it's that Tuesday, like I think will be pretty good. Especially because they're gonna have to attend a retreat, so they can't go too far. Right? So, yeah, okay, cool, thank you all for that. So we'll have our, we won't have a meeting finals week. I really want y'all to study for your finals. Like, especially even our stories from last evening, okay. But going into our last discussion item of tonight, this was also presented in, what? I don't know, but discussion to amend bylaws to include transfer representation in each USAC office. We get Tyra, the mic.
Yes, I don't really know how to facilitate discussion item, but I just wanted to raise the concerns of like, how to say, like just having each office focus on transfer issues. Like I know I'm the transfer student rep, but transfers are literally 1 out of 3 students here, and that's a lot of students for me to represent. Like I could be supporting just with my office, but it's also like USAC is supposed to represent all students, and that includes transfer students, so I don't understand why there's not a transfer revenue office already. But I think it would just help me and to help all of y'all, like, show support for transfers, all of them, to just engage with your offices. I remember last quarter, I didn't really collaborate with much with any other USAC officers, just because like there weren't any initiatives that were spearheaded, that related to transfers in the other offices, it was just under mine. And I don't know what that looks like for each office exactly, but like as I was talking with Dennis, I was just thinking about like how this would look for her, for SWC. So specifically, like if there was a transfer rep under her office, it would be they would be focused primarily on like transfer mental health initiatives, and that would look like anything working with ways of connect, working with active minds and values, or to promote like better well-being for transfer students, something like that. Yeah, and then I don't really know what to say outside of that, but just working to collaborate more with the TSR's office. And then also like creating each office a transfer representative, but also having like a transfer unity council to like have a forum, like a space for all entities that kind of support transfers to come together. I've already tried to start to do something like that with another orgs, but I would love for like staff members to be involved in that as well. And other transfer student affiliated orgs like the TLC, the transfer students of Hillel, et cetera. But I just want to see like what kind of feedback I can get from y'all, if y'all would be open to that. Yeah, I thought you were in.
Yeah, so definitely, I like how you did demo how like under SBC with transfer programming. So I'm just trying to look at the specific roles of what each transfer representative is, like that director position, that position would look like under each of our offices. So is it primarily what we're looking at is with our, I don't know, would be our platform or just specific events that we want to be catering towards the transfer community? Yes, okay, so with that, I'm kind of wondering, would that be like stepping on your toes in your events that your programming that you have, or is it kind of just an aid that we provide in our offices by having this?
I see it as a former.
Okay.
But it's also like, y'all would be able to branch out, if that makes sense, like what you're already doing, but just have like more transfer specific initiatives, but also like using that director as a liaison between me and your office, so like kind of like I can never say this word, but a dialectical relationship where it's like back and forth. So I don't think it's stepping on the toes of the TSR's office. I think it actually helps and it makes it more efficient for USAC as a whole to support transfer students. But also to kind of alleviate the stresses around funding. Because, for those who don't know, like I was an appointment last cycle. I wasn't like, elected, it was, a previous TSR. And then when he left, I came in, it was only like $5,000, and I was just like, damn, like I had to support 30% of the population of $5,000, kind of crazy. So I think that would also help alleviate some stresses on the TSR's office, just knowing that we don't have that like same, budgetary cushion as like other offices. So I was the one who didn't just put it, I hope that I've answered.
Yeah, John, I absolutely agree that transfer students need a lot of support, and I think specifically with each of our offices, there's definitely space. That being said, I don't think amending bylaws to kind of make it so each of us has to have a transfer representative is the best course of action. Just because I think it wouldn't have merit to try to like force his fate in that way or another. I think transfers, of course, have their place already as general members of this university. And I think all of our platforms in one way or another with full transfers. I think, for example, we can kind of prioritize or maybe look higher upon a transfer who applies to our specific offices, and of course, gear some event or some, of course, support you maybe, and maybe collaborate in events. But I don't think amending the bylaws necessarily, or kind of making it as a requirement for us to have transferred students, like have a transfer representative in each, because I think also that gets the like blue form space of it's like, oh, it's imposed upon your office, but also it's like there's different groups on students as well. Like you mentioned, it's 1/3. That's the 66%, around 60%, 60 to 66% of the student body that we also have to represent as well. But I absolutely agree, and I really want to work with transfers. I think in particular, transfers tend to be students who have excelled and have demonstrated a significant example of resilience, and that's something we absolutely need to support in this body. But we also need to ensure that we're supporting all students at the school.
Okay, thank you. Well, let me read this one thing. I understand like we're supposed to support all students, but I've noticed that USAC hasn't. I know that we support other students, but we support all students by having like a general like language around that. But as a transfer specifically, sometimes we don't feel like we're catered to if there's not like a specific like transfer thing on there. But also just like transfer students aren't really welcome at USAC because we feel like if we're not under a position that specifically says transfer, we're not gonna be compelled to go apply for those positions. So I'm not gonna like force any of y'all to have a transfer rep. I just wanted to bring it up as a discussion. So maybe if I would, adjust what I'm saying to like recommend each office have a transfer rep. I'll put an emphasis on big ones like the superintendent commissioner, the office of the president, the facilities commissioner. But I will leave that to y'all as your own USAC council membership if y'all would like to have that representative, but yes, I do think that we do support all students, but it's important to have those designations for change.
Can we pass the mic? Sorry, I forgot to say that. Just to,
Yeah, just real quick, I really appreciate Harry bringing this up, and we really want to make sure that we are supporting transfer students, and I know that they have felt like they've been kind of left behind in the past. So making sure that we correct that moving forward. I think one thing for me, when it comes to something like facilities commission specific, I think it'd be very wise for all of us to meet with members of the transfer community, so we know exactly, what are the issues that they are facing, and make sure that we can incorporate those specifically in our office. I think just having a transfer representative just to say like, hey, look, we're being inclusive. I think that's great. But I think maybe having more actionable items going into the future, that'd be fantastic. And that's something I'd really like to develop out with Tyra. We kind of talked about maybe like a transfer student like checklist thing that we could be doing as a USAC. I think that'd be very helpful if we could have like a list of actionable items that we'd all be working on.
I agree with that, and I will also add, thank you, Tyra, for definitely bringing this to all of our attention. I will also say, I know you mentioned that last week was a collaboration. I will say, I think this is also really good. And that we are open to collaborating on actually in working together to plan events and catering to the trans population. So that's definitely something I hope to work with you on, and I speak for all offices that they hope to work on this with you. I'll definitely think more about having a transfer representative in the office, because still working on planning out all my director roles and staff roles and positions. But thank you for bringing this up. I see the point, I see the purpose in it. And for other big offices as well that have large budgets to support hiring more directors, I encourage, I get $5,000 too, and that was only because we got well, we had the extra from last, I think it goes back down, just we do the budget again. So we'll definitely, we'll talk about it, we'll talk about it. And also I will bring up that this is also something that we had the conversation period that were there, getting outside funding for our stipends, for our staffing. So with that, I think it's definitely what we did under President Amy Riley was that she asked for demographic information. If you were transferring to first gen, if you identify with marginalized identity, that helped us gather that kind of funding from outside sources in order to fund our directors and staff. So it's good to include transfers, especially I know y'all have had your hiring applications out. Made sure, like Tara said, she was willing to put y'all in connection with some transport organizations to post that. I really recommend taking her up on that. And just following up for kind of this issue. But thank you so much. Does anybody have any other comments, want to say anything? Oh, yeah, we got it.
Hi. Yeah, thank you so much, Tyra, for bringing this up. I think it's incredibly important. And I really resonate with what Evan shared. I think it is good for, I think transfer student rep might not be the most suitable for all the offices, although it would work really well for some. But I think all offices should try to have like an event or a really targeted approach to make sure that they are accounting for transfer student interests, like what Evan said, meeting with Tyra or having some sort of like checklist. And I know Alicia put it in the chat. She said that she would love to have like an art series, host, galleries for transfer students and experiences, but she doesn't know how, like a specific representative would look like. So I think that could look different for all of us, but I would kind of push for everyone kind of putting it into writing about how are you going to make sure that your events are, have, principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion for like transfer students, as well as, other groups like international students, undocumented students, and other students who might not be as represented in the events and the spaces that you kind of oversee. So I really want to highlight having that approach and really thinking about how are you going to make sure that we all can have an event that reaches out to these segments, these segments of the student population.
Cool. I'm gonna read the next comment really quickly, just so that I make sure you don't listen in the chat. So I personally do not know what that would look like for CAG. I currently have 5 transfer directors in our events, regional students, including transfer students, especially those of color. I do not know how I can set in a TSR. TSR within CAG either, which worries me. I know my series and initiatives in CAG are aimed for the best serve and provide edutainment to POC transfers, regardless of an official position. That's not to say that's not to say I don't support you and I would love to talk about this more. Example, I love to have opportunities those galleries for transfer students and experiences.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
I just want to echo what other people have said and say, like, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. And like, I see your Instagram and I see the things you do, and like, you do so much for transfers. And so I just know that you like are really like importantly symbol like in our community. And so I think I also echo what other council members have said, in that I do think codifying such a position can be difficult because I had to remove director positions this year to make sure I could stipend everyone appropriately. However, while I do think definitely we can all like have events and stuff and make sure we're doing programming that's catering to transfers, I do really see the importance, like you mentioned, you proposed the Transfer Unity Council. I do see the importance in designating specific people to make sure that these issues are being thought of. Because we can all like collectively say we want to do transfer programming and tell that to our directors, but if no one is specifically looking out to make sure that this happens or that transfers are like adequately represented and reached, then I definitely see that's an issue. And I see how perhaps like that's kind of the approach we have been taking thus far. And I think you pointed out that sometimes transfers do still get swept under the rug. So I feel like something we can all do as a council we can discuss this later and see about this, is if we all, I would hope we all have transfers in our offices, hopefully more than one. And so kind of working with them to designate perhaps a representative to do, not a pseudo council, but at least to make sure we have one representative who's thinking about these issues and who can meet with you, like you said, to make sure we have that connection with your office. That's something I could definitely do this year and that I would hope we could achieve. So yeah.
Awesome. Very. Eva.
No, yeah, I don't want to regurgitate what everyone said, but so thank you. Thank you for bringing this up, Tyra. I think when I'm thinking about the EVP office specifically, we last year were really fortunate to have a solid amount of transfer rep, but there's obviously way room for more. Something that I think that you and I could do is and it's kind of like what Evan said, but together discuss policy ideas, because I'm telling this to my chiefs as I'm onboarding them tomorrow, but my biggest goal for my office is to make lobbying trips more accessible and way more of them, because we live in LA, so there's so many people we can go lobby on all levels of government. And so I think ensuring that transfers are in that room and lobbying for B, transfer specific issues. So if there's anything on the policy horizon that you or your team notes, I would love to when after the team's all on board and we start up those lobbying trips, I'd love to lobby for specific bills that would make the process of transferring a lot easier. And just anything else that y'all would want to lobby for, just I'll make sure to reach out. And I think that's definitely something that I'd love to do.
Thank you so much, everybody. These are all great ideas. And are we all on them? We got you. Okay, any other comments? Any other comments before we wrap up on that discussion item? Well, once or twice, so, okay. And with that, I adjourn the meeting at 9:07 p.m.